Well, some 40 universities in the United Kingdom have now reported cases of coronavirus, forcing thousands of students to self-isolate as the new term begins. Many students are demanding to know why they were encouraged to leave home and pay for accommodation when much of the teaching is being done online. Aberystwyth University is the latest to suspend face-to-face teaching because of the pandemic. After a wave of complaints, the Scottish Government has now changed its guidance to allow students to return home if they wish, although the entire household would then have to isolate for 14 days. Our education correspondent Dan Johnson reports from Manchester.
Day 4 of this freshers' lockdown and the funds running low, along with the food. And behind the fences are the young hopes of a student life put on hold, having barely begun.
We were sent here with kind of like the promise of, oh yeah, you guys can have a bit of a normal uni experience, and then within 2 weeks they were like, nah, you can't. So we were kind of sold a false dream.
This is the start to term nobody wanted, but almost everyone could see coming.
The government sent thousands and thousands of students together to live in a close proximity where they're going to share the same facilities, they're going to use the same kind of areas. So if you kind of expect to send all those people back and then not to have that kind of a spike, either that's just incompetence and poor planning.
Each university should have their own testing facility, and you could reduce the cases and isolate individual houses as well. Our house had no symptoms and no one needed to get a test, but we're stuck in here now.
The university says it will cover rent for the next fortnight and give students a £50 shopping voucher with reserved delivery slots. There's denial here that students' fees were put before their welfare.
What do you say to those who came here on the promise of at least some face-to-face learning and now find themselves locked up, learning online, feeling like they've been misled and they're now trapped?
Well, I don't see these students as having been misled or trapped, actually. I mean, like many people, they're having to self-isolate. It's for 2 weeks. These students are on 3 and sometimes 4-year courses. It's a short part of their study.
It's worth saying student life is carrying on here to some degree. People are using the library, keeping social distance, of course. But with cases being reported at other universities, there will be more disruption.
At the University of Glasgow, supplies are arriving and there's more food on hand. Alongside deliveries, parents have been helping make decisions about the future.
We talked about whether to defer studies till next year, but I think she's decided, is it going to be any better next year? We might as well just carry on.
In Edinburgh, Molly's been isolating, but today she got the all clear.
They seem to be quite all right with sending us here and, you know, changing what household we're in to get us into halls. But when it comes to letting us go home, it's a huge problem to change what household you're in.
If you decide you absolutely have to move to your family home to self-isolate, you should avoid using public transport. And crucially, the other members of your new household will have to self-isolate for 14 days.
In Belfast, around 100 are in isolation after 30 tested positive at Queen's University. And in Wales, Aberystwyth is the latest to suspend face-to-face teaching. There's more evidence today this age group's hit hardest by the pandemic. It was difficult enough getting here, and there's no easy time ahead. Dan Johnson, BBC News, Manchester.